Hey, Dragon Slayers. It's been about 5 hours since my last meal, and my blood sugar is 83. Tonight's topic is going to be super dense, so I'm going to jump right into it. Oh, by the way, my last meal was chicken wings, so it was just wings with like a Parmesan garlic sauce. So there are four basic combinations for dietary energy. Back to the two compartmental storage system of energy for your body. There are four basic permutations for dietary energy. First off, we have the high carb, low fat diet. So, this is your typical weight loss diet. Fat has the most calories, so from a caloric point of view, it made the most sense to eliminate those. Plus, we used to think that dietary fat immediately clogged your arteries, just like bacon grease in your kitchen drain. Um, Turns out that calories aren't the best way of thinking about your diet, and eating fat does not clog your arteries after all. More on all of that later. But in any case, if you're eating a high carb, low fat diet, you will be burning a high amount of glucose for energy and less fat. A person on this diet can be lean and healthy, but you probably have to eat more frequently as you will be less fat adapted or able to run your whole metabolism from stored body fat. Frequently, somewhat glucose dependent, with blood sugars highs and lows. As liver glycogen falls, blood sugar falls as well, and falling blood sugar equals hunger. We'll come back to that more later. Eating lots of carbs, so glycogen is always high, and you are burning mostly glucose. However, fat is low, so you aren't storing much fat. You have a normal weight and insulin response. The next one, the second one, would be low carb, high fat. This would be your standard Atkins type diet, where you're eating a lot of fat, but that's okay because carbs and glucose and glycogen are low. So you are reciprocally burning a lot of fat. Very good for fat adaptation, the ability to run your entire metabolism from stored body fat. Definitely superior to high carb, low fat for overweight or obese people. And in fact, there are dozens of studies comparing low fat to low carb, and low carb is simply more effective for losing weight. Low carb haters will argue that low fat and low carb are the same when calories are matched, meaning studies where participants were given a fixed amount of calories to eat. This is true, but in the real world, low carb is better for overweight people. Avoiding carbs so glycogen and glucose oxidation is always very low and fat oxidation is quite high. Eating a lot of fat and burning it off. Your weight and insulin remain normal. The third permeation is low carb, low fat. So, what is there left to eat? Pretty much just protein and fiber. This is the diet of your typical bodybuilder or figure competitor. Extremely restrictive, but it gets you the very best results. These people have the lowest fat mass and unfortunately the highest hunger. Probably not sustainable long term. This is, however, the ultimate fat loss diet, and we will talk about this in the upcoming sections. Eating less non-fiber carbs that break down into glucose, and less added fat is pretty much the general idea behind the protein to energy strategy in this book. Extremely basic concept once you get the idea. Low carb and low fat simultaneously cause glycogen to be low and fat oxidation is normal, typical for bodybuilders or aesthetic athletes eating mostly protein and fiber. Very insulin sensitive, but you're hungry all the time. And the fourth and final permeation is high carb, high fat. This is SAD, or the standard American diet, or it's also known as the worst. This is also the way everyone around you is eating. Carbs and glucose and glycogen are all high, and fat oxidation is lower as a result. Because you are displacing fat oxidation with glucose, all the fats you eat get stored and not burned. You would probably be fine if you were eating less or either carbs or fat, but because both are high, the result is a slow and gradual weight accumulation. On average, Americans are currently gaining 3 pounds of fat per year, And as a result, everyone is just slowly and inexorably getting fatter and fatter until we are all obese. The worst, the standard American diet is eating lots of carbs so glycogen is always high and fat oxidation is low. Also, eating fat so you're going to gain at least a pound a year forever. So there you have it. That's what I've got for you guys today. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And remember that together you and I will slay the dreaded diabetes dragon.